All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wonderful people, lovers of freedom all over the world. Wherever you're joining us from today, you're highly welcome to this wonderful YouTube platform that gives you only but legit and confirmatory news where they happen for Biafran territory. Please subscribe to this channel if you've not yet subscribed, and also continue to choose this wonderful confirmatory Let's Talk TV channel for more news. Now, straight up to the issue, because I'm gonna drop a video for you to watch, and I want you to listen to this video carefully. Please watch this video and understand the major reason why Nigeria cannot extradite the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa. Forget all this maga, they've been doing, trying to find a way to bring down Simon Ekpa. The highest they can try to do is to follow an illegal means, just the same way they did with Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, and we know it is not possible. Simon Ekpa has learned from the mistake of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. That is why you see Simon Ekpa is always ahead of the Nigerian government, the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. Simon Ekpa is always ahead of them. He makes sure that he beats them in their game. Go and check, every move they've made. Go and check every move they've made. You see that he finds a way, to outsmart them. Remember the time that they brought a suicide bomber to buy him, or the one they brought an assassin. He was able to even find out before they located him. So that is it. Now, this video, you see an explanation why, if you're talking about the legal means of extraditing, why Nigeria cannot extradite the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa. Isn't the same Nigeria that is finding Simon Ekpa to bring down? Is it not the same Nigeria that has been buying innocent people? I gave a particular news yesterday. What happened then in Anambra State? Not what happened in Anambra State, where the military men, the Nigerian military, stormed a particular community and were buying innocent people, attacking and destroying their property. The same thing that happened in Olo. When most of you come out here on my YouTube channel and start criticizing us, I just look at you people and them. I say, wait, these people, do they even know what they are saying? Instead of you to go and criticize the media, the Zoom media that feeds you with lie, instead of you to go and criticize the Zoo army that have been buying your people, you come here to criticize us, criticize the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa, criticize, the work that we're doing, the information that we're giving out. You people must understand that there is a WAR happening in Biafra land. They are hiding it. No matter, they are doing everything possible to hide it, and that is why we'll keep on exposing these people and the atrocious thing that they are doing in Biafra land. Genocidal attack here and there. Oh, you do not know that innocent Biafrans are missing. You see these people, they will come back with their bosses or their armor tank. They will come and pack innocent Biafrans, especially young men. Young men is their attack. Remember when I told you that they are trying to cause extinction in Biafra land? Thereby they are trying as much as possible to reduce the number of able-bodied young men in Biafra land. That is why, as a young man in Biafra land, you're not even safe in some villages, because you're the major target. And the funniest thing is that they are hitting on you straight up. Any small thing, they buy you. So that is how bad it is. But meanwhile, I'm not going to waste time on this issue. Please make sure you continue to share this video because we have an important news, to give to you from the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa.
Commentator. He's also an author on the title The Future of Politics, and that's going to be quite an interesting one, since that's going to be some of the conversation that we'll be having right here on the World News at 12. Mr. Chukwuma, thank you once again for being here. Let's start off with the federal government through General Buba, stating that the federal government has already commenced plans for the extradition of Simon Ekpa. Now, Major General Edward Buba, who is the Director of Defense Media Operations, revealed that the government would respond appropriately through diplomatic channels. Now, this is not the first time we've heard this from the federal government. I remember the first time where the federal government said they had written to the government of Finland. At the time, they invited Simon Ekpa for questioning at the headquarters there in Finland, where they asked questions because at the time they said that Simon Ekpa is the one responsible for the insecurity in the southeast. Now, when he was invited, he had responded to quite a number of questions right there in Finland, and he was later released. So what is stopping, or what other diplomatic channels are they going by? If the government of Finland does not find him guilty of anything, if they have invited him for questioning, how is the method going to be? How possible would it be for him to be extradited to Nigeria to respond to the federal government's call?
Okay, Esther, it's good that we are getting to hear this from the government.
Okay, yeah.
It's a clear departure from the illegality that we witnessed in the past.
All right.
We have a government that is saying, okay, we are going to follow diplomatic channel, diplomatic protocol to ensure that we bring back this young man to come and answer to charges of terrorism, to charges of hate speech, incitement, and all of that. Like I said, it's good that we are getting to hear this from the government.
Okay.
But we also had a government that went out of their way to extraordinary rendition of a young man, Nnamdi Kanu, who is now at the center of the drama of whatever insecurity that the government thinks is going on in the southeast. I say that in the light of the fact that, you see, the government is quick to point fingers at people that cause insecurity in certain regions. But the government, at the same time, absorbs itself of the blame that they should carry in fueling insecurity. I've said several times, what the government needs to do is unpack holistically the whole issue of insecurity in different regions of the country. What is causing, or what started the insecurity in the southeast is because a certain group of people, members of this union, felt strongly that they had been excluded, shut out from the resources, from the economic high command of this country, in security apparatus, in whatever, in state creation. Every other region has 6. It's only the southeast that has 5. Despite their contributions to the national wealth, despite their emphasis on the unity of this country, people from the southeast, if you ask me, have demonstrated more faith in the unity of this country than any other group of people.
Mr. Chukwuma Okorie, to buttress what you're trying to say, in the recent security appointments, especially on the President's security team for 2024, there's a list that was out. Now, Southwest dominates. You have more of the North Central and Northwest, including the Southwest. Now, the security team actually shows that in the 15 appointments, Southwest has 6 appointees, Northwest has 4, North Central 2, Northeast 2, and Southeast 1.
Just 1. And so how do you expect the people to keep quiet? I think that this president was even magnanimous to give the Southeast 1. In the previous administration, Southeast got nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, you've been saying this administration is magnanimous for giving us 1. Wow.
In comparison with what happened in the past. And it was the actions of the past leadership of this country that spiked the whole issue of insecurity. And I keep saying, before 2015, Nnamdi Kanu wasn't asking for the Southeasterners to exit this union. His emphasis was on, please, how do we make this union work? Our diversity is a huge asset, is a strength for us. So how can we capitalize on our diversity, like you have in the United States, like you have in other parts of the country, and make this place work? But by 2015, a certain man came and said, "Oh, you gave me 5% of votes, and you don't expect to get like people that voted for me 75%, and whatever 97 and 5 meant, I'm yet to understand up until today." But he went ahead to.
But like I asked you earlier, if they've not been able to use diplomatic channel to extradite him, I remember I told you he was invited, all right, for questioning in Finland. If that has not taken place, what other method, what other means through which he could be extradited? Because currently he's still in Finland.
First of all, you have to understand the fact that Simon Ekpa is Finnish. He's a citizen of Finland. You know, so he has dual nationality. He's Nigerian, he's Finnish.
Okay.
And if the federal government cannot use diplomatic means like extradition to bring him back, there is no other legal means available except for them to rendition him too. And it's up to the Finnish government to accept that.
Okay.
Unlike what we are seeing happen between Nigeria and UK in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. And I keep asking, the federal government is quick to point out that they want to arrest people who are sponsoring insecurity or financing Simon Ekpa to cause insecurity in the southeast. The same federal government is unable to release the list of people that are sponsoring terrorism in the northeast, in the north central, in the northwest.
That's
the UAE
thing.
said we have a list of people sponsoring, financing insecurity in Nigeria. And we had a government that said, give us the list. The UAE gave them the list. They stood on that list, put it inside a cupboard. And up until this moment, we don't know. A certain 3 people, were fingered as sponsors of terrorism through financing and all of that. Esther, what has come out of that?
We've not heard anything.
We've not heard anything. And you see people who are caught, people who are armed that have killed fellow Nigerians. The security agencies arrest them and take them to the police station. The next day they are out. I bet you are quick to say you want to arrest people that sponsor, people that are carrying flags, people that are waving flags in parts of the country. So does that show a sense of sincerity on the part of government to fight insecurity? Clearly no.
But let me ask you something. I remember there was an Islamic clergy that threatened the president's wife. Would have expected that the security agencies would have tracked that man, all right, and put him in custody for making such a treasonable comment. We've not heard that. We've also heard the brazen nature of these bandits carry on TikTok, right, a social media platform. They do giveaway with the monies given to them by those who want their relatives to be released from their capture. But we've not heard anything afterwards from all of that. So this again is where the reshuffling within the security agency of this administration came on board. So what exactly is happening in that regard? If they divest the means that they want to use in going through with Simon Ekpa, why don't they use that same means in having to bring out the culprits responsible for sponsoring terrorism in this country?
Esther, you are spot on, and I think we are traveling the same road. If you talk about the person that threatened the first lady,
yes,
it might not be treason.
It might not be treason.
It might not be treason.
Why would you make that statement?
I mean, if somebody threatens to kill you now,
threatens the first lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you don't consider it treasonable?
Esther, in our constitution, we don't have anything like the office of the first lady. It's a creation. It's convention.
Okay.
Our constitution doesn't create that.
So she's just like any other individual like that somebody threatens.
Like threatens. And before you take action about threat, there must be 2 conditions there. The mental and the physical, okay. Like an intent to. You have an intent to commit a crime. It's different from you having the intent and expressing that intent in action.
Okay. Yeah.
So unless you are able to establish that, you cannot really have a stronghold legally on the person. Like I said, Esther, I'm going to blow your nose now. It could be the mental condition is there.
Okay.
I've conceived of the idea, but until I try to punch you, which is the physical aspect, that nexus must be there before. I become.
But the federal
legally
government is saying now they
involved.
want to use the European Union. They want to go beyond having a dialogue with the Finnish government through their diplomatic channels. The diplomatic channels that they actually want to go through. They're saying they're going to go through the European Union. How long do you think this process will take? And
it's
for
not
example, for
going-
them to actually release this out, make this publication here, don't you think that you have an intention to extradite somebody? Don't you think you've heightened the person's protective measures to possibly not make themselves available for
It's
such?
not about protective measures. The law is very clear on that, you know. And like the FBI says, you can only run, but you cannot hide. You can run as far as your leg can carry you, but you cannot hide. And going through the EU, it's you know, like what they say in international law, that in international relations, that international law is it's a no-brainer.
Okay.
Because the laws are there, but is the issue of enforcement, because it deals with the sovereignty of each nation, and we still practice statism now, whereby the states, you know, are clearly in charge of their sovereignty and their foreign affairs. And if you talk about the EU, the individual states of the EU still have a large control over their foreign affairs. You know, they might have a foreign pool of, you know, like foreign policy initiative to say that the EU is going to take this decision. They take votes, and
So when that happens, then there's a strong possibility that the request for extradition can take place, if at all they peruse or go through that angle that they want to go through. Since the first time they had to contact the Finnish government, that did not possibly work or wasn't accelerated as they wanted.
The laws of the EU are also very clear on that.
Okay.
If there is a conflict between the law of a country and the law of the EU as a bloc, the law of that country takes precedence.
Okay.
Are you aware of that?
All right.
Okay. So in this case, if the EU approaches Finland and say, okay, please, can you help us extradite
this individual?
Okay. And the Finnish government says, oh, sorry, we have gone through that in our legal system. It's not possible. He's our citizen. He just happens to also be a citizen of Nigeria, and we have.
So that means that's diplomatic channel. Maybe
The only
dead on
diplomatic
arrival.
channel they can explore is, I mean, does Nigeria have extradition treaty with Finland? And it's not cast in stone. It's not cast in concrete that when you use that means that you must always have your way, because there are also asylum laws considered. This man is been granted asylum.
Yeah.
One, has he been granted asylum? One, is he a citizen of Finland? You know, or has he done enough? What he has done, is it sufficient enough for you to request a Finnish citizen to come to Nigeria and answer questions and possibly sentence him? So these are the things that they are going to consider. I'm not a lawyer. I don't have the final points of the law, but I also do have basic knowledge of the operations of international law.
In the case of Nnamdi Kanu, he's to appear in court next month. Very close. September is here, possibly towards the end of September. And the idea at that time is to see that the last time he appeared in court was about a political resolution. How possibly the federal government and the legal team of Nnamdi Kanu can have a conversation, some conditions or some requirements will be talked about and signed, and look for his possible release. With all that has been happening, the end bad governance protest, the Nigerian military, the Nigerian Navy, all the security apparatus being heightened, do we see that possibility this September? Is there a plausibility that something of that note can actually take place?
Esther, if the federal government is interested in releasing Nnamdi Kanu,
they would.
Using the political means, I'm not sure they will allow the case to linger up until this
Okay.
moment. You know, so going to court has become more like a deja vu for us. It's like we just wake up and say, oh, okay, we are going to court again.
All right.
And next month, okay, we are going to court again. You know, so if they are interested in following the political means to resolve the crisis, they will do that sincerely.
Do you think the change within the Nigerian Security Agency, the sack of Bichi, the sack of the NIA, because those were the individuals that were responsible for his extraordinary rendition, do you think this change will culminate to in a positive light, to possibly seeking that avenue to work in September?
The change had nothing to do with Nnamdi Kanu. We are just getting to hear that from Ejimako,
Yes.
you know, Aloy Ejimako,
Yes.
his lawyer, that these were the individuals that were behind his extraordinary rendition. And of course, for political watchers, they didn't need to travel far.
All right, you've all heard what he said, and if you're being truthful, you will agree, to certain things he said and mentioned here. The Prime Minister Simon Ekpa cannot be extradited, no matter how Nigeria try. Finland is not just like any other country. Finland is not an African country. Finland is a country that understands what it means to fight for freedom. And that is one important thing they ought to know. Please do not forget to share this video and make sure you turn on your notifications so that you will get notified whenever we drop our spanking news. Continue to choose Let's Talk TV for your more updated news and information. God bless you.